Organize Me Radio, episode 66, Organizing Vet Talks Business Milestones. I'm Naeemah Ford Goldson. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Organize Me Radio. I'm Naeemah Ford Goldson, and today's guest is the super organizer in Los Angeles. Please welcome my friend, James Lott Jr. Welcome.
Hi, it's so good to see you again. You were on my show a couple of years ago.
Yep.
But I support my Black women, so I am very glad to be here. Thank you.
Yes, and we appreciate it. And I support my Black men. However, you're the only one I ever met in this industry.
Yes. So let me tell you something. So there was one guy a few years ago that someone said I should talk to. He was Black also. Forgot his name. We sent each other an email. He never followed through on to have him on my show because I've never met another Black male organizer.
Yeah.
Where he is, if you're out there, hi, contact me. I don't know where you are, but I don't know. I've never met another one.
So it's crazy. And so you're celebrating 15 years in business, right? So of course it's crazy that you've only come across one Black man, right?
Yeah.
But tell us your story. How did you get your start in the organizing industry?
Yeah, I love telling a story actually because it's about mindset, and for me, it was really about mindset and age. I was turning 40, and it can be 15 years ago. I was turning 40. Yes, kids, I know I look like I'm 40 now, but no, it was turning 40, and I was unhappy at my job. I was working at a corporate job, was not happy. Living in San Francisco, not happy. Hated the weather up there, not happy. And I sat down, and I literally had the paper somewhere on a lined paper, wrote, these are all things about every job I've ever had that I like, not dislike, that I liked. So I was a nurse, I was in retail, I was in food, stuff. Like I just write down everything I liked about each of those jobs. Showed it to my aunt and to my mother. Aunt Faith gets lots of credit for this. And she says, there's a business in here somewhere. I don't know what it is, but there's something for you. Now, it's the recession, it's 2008, 2009, recession. I'm making good money, good benefits. Entrepreneurship was never on my radar. I like that's for other people. Somebody else does that. I don't know what that means. And I know what it was. But I knew I wanted to change my life at all costs. I was getting stomach aches. I was getting an ulcer. I was like, I need to get out of here. And so I was like, let me mold this over. I took a chance. Came back to Los Angeles, where I'm from. Actually, in Inglewood, California. Inglewood, South LA. Inglewood, came back to the childhood home that I grew up in and now I own. And close to my parents and my brothers, sisters. I was like, okay, I'll come back here and I'll just kind of take my 401k and my savings and see what happens. And I kept looking at it. Then I found a book. God Sends You Messages. I found a book by Julie Morgenstern, who was a person in our business. And it was called Organizing from the Inside Out. I was like, what's this? I mean, I literally found it. It was like on a bus bench or something. And I literally took it home, wiped it off, so I don't know what was on there. But then I started reading it and I fell in love with it. I'm like, this is a business? Then I started looking around. I heard it's like a young industry. So this is like 2009. So they said maybe like the late 80s, it was starting to do something. I can organize. And that's what, and at the same time, though, I was acting. I thought I wanted to be an actor for a minute. So I was on a show called House, a little show called House. Big show. I did that. I did a couple commercials, but I was just kind of feeling around. I was like, how do you start a business? So my mother's friend hired me to organize her bathroom. I'm like, well, I'll do it the way I always like. My bedrooms are always organized. I started kind of doing it that way, and she loved it. Said, can you do my bedroom? Can you do this? So then once a week I go to her house. I started that way. And then literally, like my whole business, word of mouth. She told two friends, and she told two friends, and so on, like the old commercial. I'm like, oh my God, I have a business. And I looked it up and I saw NAPO. Back there was an Association of Professional Organizers. Like, there's actually a business thing. Yeah. So I signed, so they went into the whole thing, and that's how I actually started. So one person at a time, I started kind of organizing, and that's how I got started.
So we were joking a little bit ago about, you being the only Black man I've ever met in the industry, and you meeting one other. There's I'll say we don't have a lot of black people in the industry as a whole. It's a white woman dominated industry, right? So we have some black women, but we don't have a whole lot. But I'm curious to know, what has your experience been as a black man in the industry?
So what's funny is I did a series in 2020 called The Super Organizer what was it? Man in the PO Industry. I did about 12 episodes. They were very popular. They're on my YouTube channel, JLJ Media, because people kept asking me about that. And also, it was during Black Lives Matter when George
Hmm.
Floyd thing happened, and I was getting lots of people coming to me for advice and stuff. Um, so the basics for me were range from, do I put my face on the cover of my cards or my pass out materials? Because my name is
Hmm.
James Lott Jr. Is not ethnic at all.
Right.
I come from mixed race families, so just a whole other story.
Hmm.
But my name is not. It doesn't sound like anything. So I was like, okay. So when I used to show up to some of the consultations, you see their face go, "Oh, you're James Lott Jr."
Mm.
Like, where? And I get those jobs.
Boy.
So for me, I'm a big black man. I'm like 6 feet, 200 something pounds. So a big black man also. Um, it was very much sometimes shock, sometimes grace. But then I started to change my strategy. I was like, what area is not being actually talked to? Black folks,
Hmm.
Latino folks,
Yeah.
mostly in cultures where you're taught to do everything yourself and don't ask for help.
Right.
And I said, okay. And I'm an ex geriatric nurse. So I said, well, if I go even sharper than narrow than that, women over 50. To this day, that's mostly my client. 80% of my clientele is women over 50. I started going in my own neighborhood, my own back, from my first client on my own back in my backyard, and going, I can organize that garage for you. I can help you with that closet. And what happened was, no, they didn't realize, just like an electrician or a plumber or a gardener or a housekeeper, you could hire an organizer. And let me be very clear, folks out there, no shade to anybody can do both. Not all organizers are cleaners, not all cleaners are organizers.
Right.
And I've had clients that I've tried. I mean, I just tried. They just throw shit in the air. Oh, I'm like, the point is, some people just aren't they're not they don't know that there's actually processes. Um, that's it's just kind of crazy. Um, but I found that they started to trust me. I became their surrogate son, surrogate husband or late husband, surrogate nephew, surrogate. I mean, like, it became this thing where, because I looked like them and I was a little younger than they are, they liked it. They liked having somebody come in and help them get organized. They could trust me. And I found that's I kind of navigated my own way there. But then it did grow into the general population where I do help. I have white clients also. But at first, it was very much I was getting the jobs. I was going, let me go to my own neighborhood and
Yeah.
see what's going on. But I'll tell you one quick story that is it's a bad story. And I'm going to tell it because I get to share the story all the time.
Yeah.
So one white person hired me. It was a woman hired me, and she knows black and everything. But she hired me. I come to her house to organize. I show up. Hey, I'm here. Dave, let's do this. Let's do this. And her white boyfriend pulls her to the side into the bedroom. Of course, the walls are super thin,
Mm.
and says, "I don't want that monkey touching my stuff."
Mm.
And it's just 2000, like 14, it
Wow.
was long ago, 15. And I'm standing there. I'm like, "Are you talking about me? Or are you talking about like an actual monkey somewhere?" I wasn't, because I was just so, yeah, you just so shocked. And
Yeah.
she's like, "He's good. I don't want his brown paws over my stuff. I don't trust him."
Wow. Mm.
He wouldn't say it to my face.
Mm.
And I was standing there like, okay, now should I just not be professional or still try to be professional? Because that's the whole point. An
Right.
angry black man at the
Right.
whole thing, right?
Right.
So I'm like, okay. She comes out and she's like, "I'm really sorry. I'll still pay you for you said you showed up." I said, "No, keep your money." So the fact that you're allowing this to happen, you're just as culpable as he is. And I walked
Right.
out.
Yeah.
And that's just something that I will never forget.
Mm.
And I don't know how many people who didn't hire me after they saw me being Black felt the same way. That's why I thought this is very interesting for me. I have to be careful because a lot of this is known as a white woman's job. Now
Yeah.
there are Asian organizers, and I tell you, we're out there. But I was like, this is I may encounter this, and this is in Los Angeles. I wasn't even like in the South or nothing. I was in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So that was kind of crazy.
Mm. That's tough because the reality is a lot of Black organizers deal with that. That's been our experience. Some of us don't get jobs because we're Black, right? We don't get as many opportunities as the white organizers get. Take like TV shows, for example, right? We have shows with white organizers. However, where are the shows with Black organizers? There are a couple shows with Black organizers, but they're on a network that doesn't have the reach like an HGTV, right? They don't have that reach, like a Magnolia Network or, something along those lines. So it's like, we're okay with Black organizers as long as they're over there and they're not coming
Well,
into
here's
our
I'm
space.
so glad you brought that up. I'm so glad because now for folks who don't know this, I work in the entertainment business also. My other company is JLJ Media, so I work in both. And I had a deal with In the Mall Entertainment North America about 6, 7 years ago. That fell through, which happens in this business. But they loved me. I did some test. I have some test videos out there somewhere of me organizing and stuff, and they were saying your charisma plus you look different than anybody else. You're a Black man. It'd be great to put you on. And they had a hard time placing me. Not the team was really loved me, and I believed in them. It was the bigger team. It was the networks.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you said no shade to the home edit, no shame to all these people who are doing it. Good for you, girls. But you know, I don't even see it on Black networks. Not even on BET or
Yeah.
Clio or anything. Or Bounce or these streaming networks. I don't see anything with Black folks organizing. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be Clean Sweep and all those old shows with Niecy Nash. We loved that back in the day. But I'm like, there are actual organizers who are wonderful,
Yeah.
who are doing amazing work, and we just need the color and face to represent on just I just need that on there. We don't, and this business that's a whole other story.
Yeah, yeah, that's a whole nother story. We can really we can get
I'm
into
glad,
that.
I'm glad you brought that up though, because I did have something that we're working on, and I know I would have been good. I'm not. That's not even just to be conceited or anything. I just know I would have done a great job. Could have got a great team together, and I could have represented our industry very well,
Yeah,
and maybe open the door for then Black female organizers to get
right,
on. My whole thing is like opening doors for everybody else.
right, right. Yeah, yeah, and I think that especially like these days, I feel like a lot of things have to have a celebrity component to it. So let's say Cardi B decided she wanted to become an organizer or do an organizer show. They let
I
Cardi B
would
do an
watch that though.
organizer
I would
show.
watch that though to see what's going on. But yeah, go ahead. Yes, yes.
So
So I
okay,
would tune in to see, or Nene Leaks or something. I would tune in to see the first episode, but
but right, but but they could also be creating like Black organizers and personalities and allowing us to go out there and shine instead of having to bring in someone who is of a completely different industry in to get people to watch. But again, that could be a whole nother podcast that we could talk about because I have some things.
I can tell you about this business. Trust me, I can tell you about this business. Yeah,
So again, so you've been in the business for 15 years. What are congratulations.
I
What are
myself
some
too.
of the differences that you've seen from when you started to now?
The growth, because when I started, it was still not big. I mean, since I've been on now with the whole Marie Kondo and that kind of brief kind of big thing, the Swedish death thing that was big for me. Like I'm seeing pockets of organization crazes happening, which that wasn't happening before that. I just did. I mean, I'm like, wow, it's kind of happening. And the word professional organizer is starting to permeate other areas because now I actually organize my fellow actors, producers, right? So now they know I'm kind of the go. They know they know what one is.
Yeah.
Before they never heard the word in their lives. So that has changed in 15 years for sure. More opportunities in 15 years now to promote your business. When I started, girl, I went to Vistaprint and I printed out 500 for $4.99, whatever, the brochures, the postcards, and
Yeah.
cards. And I was walking up and down the street and I was passing them out like, hire me, hire me, hire me. Where now you can actually go on free media and post pictures and make cards on media, not to walk the streets. You can literally go on Instagram or Facebook. Those things weren't here. There was no Instagram, there was no Twitter when I started. There was only Facebook. There was YouTube was kind of infancy still, but I've noticed a lot of that. That was not here. So that's another difference also. Secondly, I've also noticed a lot of younger people starting to get into the industry. And
Yeah.
there are some colleges and universities that are out here in California that are teaching organizational. They
Hmm.
have different titles. They don't say professional organizing, but it's like organizational or time management courses. They're starting to add that in their curriculums because, come on, what other profession is something that everyone can use from age 2 to 92?
Oh yeah.
And I've seen how vast, with the addition of um, virtual organizing. That's something
Yeah.
new that was not there 15 years ago. So yes, I've seen a lot of difference in this business.
Okay, so and I'm right there with you with the Vistaprint. I started my business and I became a professional organizer in 2012, and then started in 2013. So even then, Instagram. I don't remember exactly when Instagram started. Did it start in 2013? Whatever the case
Yeah,
was,
yeah,
I wasn't. It wasn't like a tool for your business, right? It was a tool when it came out. It was a tool to take selfies and to show what your life was like, and this and that, and all that. So all of that kind of came along while I was there too, and it's kind of hard to adjust a little bit to it, and try to get on board with what everyone's doing. I feel like for organizers coming in now, it's so much easier. You can have one handle for everything. When like we started, it's like you didn't really have handles, right? So then it's like, okay, let me try to get my handle, and then it's taken. It's like, okay, well, what do I
yes,
do? Right?
yeah.
So it's a lot easier for them now. But I'm also curious to know, you mentioned that you work with a lot of celebrities. You're in the entertainment industry. What's your specialty? Is your specialty working with celebrity clients?
So okay, I always tell you, my specialty is starting you out.
Okay.
That's my special because my motto is, and I have a book out that says this motto. It's called "Small Steps Lead to Large Rewards." That is my thing. I believe in how do you finish an elephant one chunk at a time. That old saying. It's it's all about I'm good at getting you started. I'm a good mindset. I'm also a professional life coach, Coach Training Alliance. Shout out to you guys. We're doing that for like 10 years, also, or something like that. But I'm good at getting you started. So I'm finding when a lot of people I work with, they're like, "How do you start?" Like they have ideas already, what they want to do, what they want to see. They don't know how to start. So I always tell them, my specialty is getting you started. And again, my specialty is kind of people over 50. Well, when it comes to the celebrities, because I'm also, I mean, in some circles I'm a star, whatever that means, but I'm in their field. So I know how to be silent.
Mm,
I know how to be discreet.
mm-hmm.
To be trustworthy. And some of these signed NDAs, which are called non-disclosure agreements, for those who don't know that, but some don't. They're just like, we trust you because they know I'm in the business. So I've just kind of, my specialty has been kind of, again, getting them started. We have all this memorabilia because one person I work with is Shirley Ralph. Everyone is Shirley Ralph.
I
Um, and
love her.
her family is just as nice as you would think they were.
Tell her I said, hey.
What's up? So my girl Neil says, "Hey," she's like, "Who that?" No, but no, I love Shirley. Shirley just, and we're both from the Caribbean, so we love it. But anyway, but the whole thing is, she was just like, "I have all this stuff archived from Moesha and Dream Girl stuff. Can we find a way to so it doesn't get ruined?" And she said, "I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
I have all these wigs, this wig room. I don't know where to start." So I'm like, "I can start you out." So what I do is I can set it all up or work with you, and we work together. So when I'm up there, it's whatever. My whole thing is getting you started. Now I said, well, that's my specialty is getting you started. And I'm a cheerleader, natural cheerleader, and so you're gonna hear me going, "Go girl, you can do it! Come on, you can do it!" And laugh maybe, and I make some funny anecdotes. I say crazy things, but you feel like they tell me they feel like empowered to actually do something.
So, what advice would you give organizers that are new to the industry or organizers that could have been here for a while, but they're still having trouble trying to find their niche or they might not know where they fit in the industry?
Good question. And number one, I would say be an entrepreneur or a solopreneur or mompreneur or all those words, self-employed, whatever words you want to use to describe yourself. It ain't easy. Just, I mean, like in all seriousness, like, and you know this, you've been doing it for over 10 years yourself, where it ain't easy. It's not for the faint of heart.
No.
You have to decide, is this a hobby or your business? And if it's
Mm-hmm.
a business, you got to go. And I took some business courses just to brush up years ago. I went to Cal State LA and just a small business management, just kind of get myself together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a business. You have to invest. You have to continue investing in yourself and consistency, consistency, consistency. Because I don't care if you have one client or 20. I don't care if you have one view on a video or 100. Just keep going. It's going to hit. I'm gonna name drop for a second. The late Emmy winner Ed Asner from Very Tyler Moore Show, All Doing Things, was a friend of mine. He passed away last year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he told me once, James, do not turn off the road. As long as you're on the road, you'll hit things. A grocery store, a mall, whatever. As long as because you're trying to get somewhere, stay on the road. It's when you pull aside or pull off or go off the off ramp, just go sit over here. Well, then nothing's going to happen.
Mm.
And I just feel like sometimes the road is boring.
Yeah.
You're just driving for miles and ain't nothing going on but grass or trees or nothing, mountains. He goes, but then eventually you'll hit civilization. So
Mm.
he said that to me. He's been in business. He was in business like 90 years. So I mean, if I can't believe him, then like who do you? So and I noticed a lot of people I talk to who've been in businesses for a long time. That's what it is. You will fail. You will drop. You will this. You will that. You will make mistakes. There's a million things that are going to happen, but you have to just be consistent. So I say to you, I see you. I see you out there. It's hard as f. I see you. There are times when I want to scream, pull all my hair's under the cap right now, but I have a lot of hair. I'd pull it out if I had to. And other times, I love it more than life itself, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else. Being consistent. The second thing I would want to say to people who are this, you can do it. If I can do it, if homegirl here can do it, you can do it too. And our business at this point is so vast and wide. Find your niche. You can find it. What do you like to do? Are you a computer person? There are plenty of things you can do in the organizing industry involving data and computers. If you are a person who likes hands-on, if you're a handyman or handywoman, there's plenty you could do in that space too. If you are a virtual person, there's that. You want to be a teacher. There's so many different areas. You want to work with young moms. You want to work with college students. You want to work with children. I mean, there's like so many things you can do in this business. Just keep fighting. But I would say stay true to yourself and think about what do you like to do? Because that goes back to my piece of paper that I did 15 years ago and said, what was the things I liked in every job? And many of those things I kept circling, they kept coming up, organizing, filing, they kept coming up.
Yeah.
Customer service, customer service, customer service. That's what kept coming up. So I'm actually staying true to myself by the kind of organizing. I love older people. I love my women. And I have a few men clients too. I love my women's. We have a good time, and I'm really here to help you. But that's part of my stuff.
I love that because I feel like, when you're whatever business you're in, of course, there are ebbs and flows of business, right? There are times where you have a really great year. There are times where the year isn't so great, right? There are, maybe months you don't get a client. Then there's a month where you have clients set up like almost every day. And I feel like, along the lines of you, like the keep going, that's always what keeps me motivated as well to just keep going because you never know what might be around that corner, right? You never know, like whatever your goal is, whatever you're trying to get to, it could have been right there and you stopped. You pulled off, like you said, you pulled off on the side of the road, and then now that's going to miss you because you didn't keep going. So being consistent, I think that's some really really good advice. And I wish that I had people like saying that to me in my ear when I started, because I feel like it's so easy to get discouraged. But then, like, kind of having a community and having other like-minded people around you helps. Like having that community, being a part of an association, NABPO, NAPO, ICD, like all the resources that you have, you don't have to do it by yourself. And I feel like sometimes new organizers feel like if they're in some kind of group with other organizers, it's a competition thing, but it does not have to be that way, because like you said, there are so many different, different niches within our industry alone.
And we're a messy country, folks. We
We
are a
are.
messy country. Trust and believe there is plenty of work. And the thing is, there's work, we're not even tapping into it fully. Our industry is not even getting to everybody. Like, there's so much work out there for us on so many scales that's I keep trying to talk about. That's why I do a lot of media, which we'll get into that soon, I'm sure. That I try to get out to people that there is every corner of the globe needs us. I mean, I was interviewed by the Finnish organizers once. So it's like they have people over there need people. I'm like, there's enough work to go around. There's no competition to me. That's why I have fellow organizers out here that we share work sometimes. Like, if I can't do it, talk to Tanisha Lyons Porter. If I can't do it, talk to Robin Reynolds. If I can't do it, talk to Regina Lark. Like, those are my girls. I mean, if I can't do it, I pass it on to them if I can, or suggest them. Like, I mean, there's plenty of work to go around. Unfortunately and fortunately.
I just have to say, I love that you named all three of them, because all three of them have been on Organize Me Radio.
Oh, well, there you
So check
go.
out their episodes too.
Those are my girls. Those three are my girls. Those three. I mean, Tanisha Lyons Porter is joy personified. Robin Reynolds is so smart and is just a great organizer. And Regina's my sister girl. So I mean, like, she's Dr. Regina. She's Dr. Regina Lark. That's my girl.
Yeah, Dr.
She's she is actually, I just talked to her today. So I mean, they're part of my circle. So yes, I love them.
So, okay. So you have done so much. Can you tell, we'll get into all of that, but can you tell me, like, what specific opportunities have you gotten from organizing?
Yeah, when you sent me this free list of fronts saying, yeah, because I have always opportunity. I was like, okay, so I was like, this is for organizers, so I can narrow it down. One of the biggest things was I had a blog, and that blog led to my own radio show. And to my knowledge, I was the only person. I looked around; nobody else had it. I was the only person on the radio doing organizing. As adrenaline radio, high adrenaline radio, they gave me a chance. Then from that, I got a TV show on YouTube through AfterBuzz TV, and it was a super organizer Christmas show, organizing show, and I was doing tips on Christmas and Thanksgiving. Now it's like 12 episodes at one point. So I mean, I got some really great opportunities from that. But now I have my longest running show, the Super Organizer Show with James Lott Jr., which she's been on also. It's celebrating 9 years of that.
Woohoo!
I can't believe it.
Congratulations.
Okay, so now it's on my own network, and I do it, and I love that. Also, I also was able to meet certain people, speak at different conferences. But especially at NAPO, I spoke at several NAPO conferences. Speaking at one actually in February in San Diego. So speaking engagements have come out of it. People I've met. There are people. I mean, I've met people that, like I said, in the business, are like, you're an organizer too. So that's a great opportunities to be able to have that happen. Also, I've been in Forbes magazine twice because as an organizer, that was very cool. Also, so yeah, it's been some. Again, I'm minding my own business, organizing the world,
Yeah.
and things come to me. I'm like, okay, sure. That's because I stayed on the lane. I'm moving along and I'm putting out content, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, and my thoughts are, I love this business. And if anybody who knows me knows, I love this business. I just want this business 24/7. I love organizing.
Okay, so speaking of, it's like,
Oh,
it's,
sorry. I forgot the biggest thing of all. I was on Jimmy Kimmel Live. I forgot 2 years ago.
yeah, I saw that.
I'm like, how can I forget the biggest thing? I was on there as an organizer, and
Yeah.
my website crashed, and people were like, "You represented us so well." I mean, I used to organizing, and I was on Jimmy Kimmel. I actually made television history as the first guest in 14 months on late night television after the pandemic.
That was awesome.
Never.
Yes, I remember seeing that in your mask and all. I was like, that's James
Yes.
Lott Jr. I told my husband, that's James Lott Jr. He's on Jimmy Kimmel. What in the
Yes, I
world?
was. I
I
was,
thought
yes.
that was so cool. That's so fun. But see, keep on going and you can get opportunities like that too. That's amazing.
You never know. But so I mean, it's like that's the biggest one. I need to mention that. That's the biggest one with Jimmy Kimmel.
I love it. So, the Super Organizer Show.
Yes.
Tell us more about it. So, you have your podcast, like you said, it's long running. Um, what made you decide to start the podcast? And then, what topics do you cover? What guests have you interviewed? Tell us about it.
Yeah, no, I'm very proud of it. It's my longest running. And like I said, it first started with as a blog. A general radio said, "Can you make that into a podcast?" I was like, make that to a radio show." I was like, "Oh, I guess." And radio was always my dream. I have this voice. Radio was always my dream. Um, and then after I left them, and I said, "There's a world called podcasting." I do it myself. Um, I decided I wanted to talk about everything and anything under the sun that has to do with productivity, time management, organization, mindset. I've had the last 7 presidents of NAPO on my show, some of them multiple times. I've had people from all walks of life. Talk about some actors. I've had my daughter on there once. I've talked to friends. I had friends come on. I've had other organizers. My thing is we're real authentic. That's my whole branding anyway. I tell like it is and shame the devil. That's what I do. And I had an episode once that people loved. It was called "I'm Messy Sometimes Too." And I talked about that. And I said, because normally I am very organized, things are in place. But I said there was a couple times I was so busy with life and I just didn't feel like organizing. And I
Yeah.
just tell the business, I tell like it is. Like I don't feel like I'm organizing everybody else. I don't organize myself. I'm tired. And people love it. And so I'm very much, I don't tell people what to do. I present to them. I say, here you go. Here's this person's way. It may work for you. Here's this person's way. I want to showcase everybody. And I try to do all walks of life, and I try to say as many colors as I can. Several languages. I speak Spanish. I did have people with Spanish come on. So I mean, it's more of it's a. I'm the super organizer, so that's the big thing. It's about being not being the greatest organizer, just about being super about organizing an organization. That's what I do, and my show reflects that. It's about come on, if you're an actor, let's talk about how you do that. How do you organize auditions? How do you? So I'm trying to show the public organization and time management's in everything.
Hmm.
Productivity is in everything. And I've had people talk about high school stuff and organizing college kids. Like it's all there. So my show is very wide about showcasing our industry.
I love it. And I love your show. And you've done so many, like, oh my God, like the list of accomplishments, the list of things that you've done. You're a songwriter, you're an author. There are so many things that you've done. Tell us about some of those other things that you've done. You've told us a little bit, but tell us a little bit more. And then do you have any fun projects coming up?
That's funny. So I'm a multi hyphenate. I've always been that way since I was before I even made the word. We even came up with the word multi hyphenate when I was a kid. Most of the days you were always a group hopper. Like in high school, I was known to be friends in all the groups. I was never part of just one, but I knew people from every group. That's how I am. I survey the land, and that's it.
Hmm.
I'm a very ambitious person, a little bit of an overachiever. And I told myself when I turned 40, also when I turned 40, I said, I'm going to do things I want to do. I'm going to try stuff that I want to try. And some of the things I'm doing now started out as an experiment or just trying. So for one of the things I do is I'm a recording artist. I have over 10 albums out and over 400 songs out there in the world. I write for other
Wow.
people, and I mean, it's just crazy. So my latest album is a Christmas album. It's called Silver Bells and Disco Balls, and it's
Okay.
a dance Christmas album. It's out now. It's doing pretty well, thank you. But I'm all about having fun. I'm mostly a spoken word artist set to music, even though I do sing on some songs too. Um, but that started out as just a fun little project between me and a couple producers like James. We love your voice. Let's do something. And now it's become another career for me. Author. I've always wanted to be a writer since I was a kid. That was something I knew I wanted to do at some point. But when I learned you can self-publish books, I was like, let me just put a few books out and see what happens. And they sold. So I have over 65 books out there.
Wow.
As myself and collaborators. I say I'm the James Patterson of James Lott's or whatever. And I have all these books out there. They range from organizing, which I'm actually working on 2 more organizing books, folks, coming out next year.
Love
That's a
it.
fun project I'm working on. But I have books that are mysteries, dramas, comedies, some are autobiographical, but they're all out there. And so they're at Amazon. You get those paperback or Kindle. But that's the thing. Then I got into this media world. I never thought I'd be a TV host or a video host. I got with a place called AfterBuzz TV here in North Hollywood, and I was hosting soap shows. So Days Are Alive, Young and the Restless, Bold and Beautiful, and Why Not? I still do that to this day. I kind of fell into it. I guested on a show once. I walked in the studio. I'm like, the lights, the camera. I'm never leaving. Um, and they couldn't get rid of me. So for 6 years, 7 years, I was there, and I had over 805 hours of television.
Wow.
I won awards for 2 of my shows, Breaking Into, which I featured Black artists on that. I was very proud that I show my awards up there somewhere. So I'm still doing that. So I have over 50 podcasts on my network that I work with other people or myself. Then during the pandemic, when everything shut down, it's like my latest accomplishment, the youngest of all the accomplishments. Um, I'm an audio drama writer, producer, and director. We
Wow.
started writing audio dramas. They're like a cross between an audiobook and a TV soap opera, but on podcast form.
Okay.
I've written over 17 different
Wow.
series. They are out there now. Latest series is called The Kringles. It's Santa Claus's cousins in South Pole. It's a whole funny thing to do. All my stuff's whimsical. And I won an award. I won a major award, an ICA award for one of my shows, Forever and a Day. That's back there too. But I was just audio drama world. So now I'm part of that. So I'm a host, I'm a producer, director, writer, podcaster, interviewer. I'm getting ready for the daytime Emmys next month. That's very exciting. They're finally, because the strikes are over now. So we're very excited. So they'll be here in LA, thank God. So I'll be hosting the daytime Emmys and doing all the red carpets, hopefully, and all that stuff that I do every year. That's exciting. But yeah, I always have something going on. And then I became a certified life coach about 8, 9 years ago. So I have actual coaching clients too that are separate from organizing. I have like 10 streams of income coming in from different things.
Yeah.
For me, it's like I wake up, I have my schedules, I have my stuff, I have my 5 computers out right now, or well, 4. And I just have I have it all. My day is different every day. So I never get bored.
Hmm.
Today I can wake up and go, oh, I have Shirley Ralph this morning. And this afternoon I'm interviewing some actress from some new show. Okay. Tomorrow could be I'm with one of my non celebrity clients. Oh, that's why we're going to buy dog stuff tomorrow. Oh my God, it'd be fun. That's in the morning. In the afternoon, I have 5 shows to do. And in the evening, so every day it's a recording session for an audio drama, or I have this for the music. Every day it's something different, and I love it.
So I'm sure people are thinking, how in the world do you have time to do everything that you do? You talked about like calendars. How in the world are you able to maintain your sanity with everything you have going on?
I'm crazy. So the sanity left in 2012. From the 10. It's
2012.
gone. It's gone. So I don't know. I don't know where that went. But no, this is what I tell people, because I do sleep 7, 8 hours a day. No, I go to sleep. I mean, I sleep is I just got a clean bill of health from the doctor. I went to the doctor last Monday. He said all my blood work came back actually amazing. I just got to lose weight, but everything else is
We all
fine.
do. We all do.
I know, right? I know, right? I was like, I get it. So I just got to lose the fat. Okay, got it. But I'm not pre-diabetic. My cholesterol is good. Everything's good. So I was like, okay, because I do rest. I drink lots of water and I do rest. But here's my answer. Because I get this question asked all the time. I go, you know how I do it all? I'm organized. And it's, I mean, and seriously, that's what it is. Because if I wasn't organized, I couldn't do the stuff. I couldn't have the stuff. I mean, I couldn't. So I literally schedule everything in, but I make sure I cut off at a certain time. I cut off at a certain this. And the thing I am trying to do, I got to do better of. I'm trying to get myself one day off a week. I haven't been as successful. I haven't. but I have been successful in getting parts of the day off for myself. So again, small steps lead to large rewards. I'm doing to myself,
Yeah.
because I don't want to just work all the time. I don't want to work all the time. I don't want to. I love what I do. Then it becomes a burden. So, but I find time. I find time because here's my thing. If you want to do it, you'll find time to do it.
True. True that.
Seriously, right? If you want to see somebody or do something, you'll find time. You'll find time. You'll carve out the time to do it if you really want it.
Right.
All these things I really want to do. So sometimes, sometimes, yeah, some things get bumped sometimes, and some things, my kids and grandkids have had to deal with a few things here and there, and they understand, and I try to get up to them later sometimes because certain things get pushed out for other things professionally. Um, but I keep communication going. That's always the number one thing. But like this year, my stepdad passed away, and mom almost died. I
Mm,
had to take off 6 months.
wow.
Couldn't do anything. 'Cause I was caregiving, right, it was all full of that. And so I got a break from it. And so I was like, wow. So then so here's the funny part. When my mother started getting better, and I was like, okay, I can start coming back in. I was like, what do I do? How do I do this? But because I had systems in place, because I'm organized,
Yeah.
I was able to slide back into this first, and then this, and then this, and this. And then I was able to slowly kind of, that first month and a half was like, okay, now I'm sliding now back to my normal stuff here. But it was like it took me a while to slide back in, but because I had it in place before I left, I was able to slide in. But I
I,
do it all, girl. I do it. I don't know how I do sometimes, but I do it. But I love it. I want to leave a lot. I want to leave a lot of legacy behind before
yeah.
I go.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you're definitely, on the right track because you have so much, like you already have a whole legacy. So I'm excited to see what else you will do. Um, what I would love to know from you is what are some of your favorite organizing products?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. I wish I could show. There's a bunch of them everywhere. Okay, I love rolling carts. They're my latest thing. I'm gonna tell you one reason why I like them. My mother's a hoarder herself. She knows this is not a secret or anything. So I've been helping clear out.
Hmm.
And one of the things I want to do for her, because she needed room to walk with a cane and a walker now. So I said, let's get rid of all these tables everywhere and TV trays and stuff. The carts are great because each level, I'm like, we're actually helping her get organized.
Mm,
Top levels things you need right away, like the keys to the house and your wallet, your purse, like all this on top. Middle one is all your medications and all that stuff. So like, and you can roll them wherever you want.
mm.
Sometimes they're by her bed. Sometimes they're in the living room by the couch or by a chair. Like they can roll anywhere. And I'm like, these things are genius. I'm like, they've been around forever, of course. They have fancy ones. And I have this one right here. I got that from a Container Store that has papers in it. I can roll that around where I want.
Hmm.
Sometimes I like to work outside. I have a big garden. For those of you who follow me, I have a huge garden. That's my big thing. There's times I can roll a cart with the stuff I'm going to work on and food and drink and roll it outside with me, sit in a chair, and I can do work outside and just grab what I need. The rolling carts are great, and you can store them anywhere. You can put them off to the side, put them in the closet. Like they're not stationary, and they're not. I think a couple of rolling carts might change your life. That's I was like when I was thinking about that, like that's my favorite thing. Also, old school. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I will always have a physical planner.
Gotcha.
I have one here too. Like when you might get a notification this morning that we have our show, I
Yeah.
have one too. But every week I sync up both. But a lot of times when I'm with clients I'm booking, I bring this with me. I write in here and then add it into. I do both. So then my phone gives me notification. I look at my thing every day. Oh, I got this today, and then these little whiteboards that tell you what I'm doing today. So those are my three things I will always use.
You can tell you're a media person because the whiteboard, and
I
then
know.
everything's
Yeah,
written down.
I got
Having your hard
whiteboard.
copy and having your digital copy.
That's right. That's right. I have both because sometimes computers go down. I've had
Right.
power happen, and in that moment, so I'm like, well, what's next? I can't find out what's next. Like, what's next? So I just have it written down.
I love
I like backups. I like backups of stuff just in case.
I love it. Okay. So this might be a hard question. Maybe not. Maybe not. You have done so much. But can you tell me what is your one greatest professional achievement?
Well, all my professional achievements are personal on some level. Um, I have a doctorate in divinity. That's one of my greatest achievements. So I'm Dr. Lott, if you want to say
Wow.
that. That's one of my greatest achievements. I will say that was wonderful. Um, but I will say this for folks at home. If you watch Days of Our Lives, there was a character named Hope Brady, played by Christian Alfonso. So I started watching Days of Our Lives back in the day. Oh, actually, I'll say it from 1983. I watched it. So started watching it 40 years ago. And she was my favorite actress on daytime TV. So then, 38 years later, I had the opportunity after all these near misses and online stuff. I got to meet her and interview her,
Wow.
and I saw like a baby. Like I seriously, I was just like, this is a full circle moment, and it's professional and it's personal, it's both. Because the fans were like, they know that James and this and to get Hope and James to get. Oh my god! And I got to ask her all the questions I wanted to ask her, and now she knows who I am. And that was 38 years in the making. And that was something I will never forget. And a close second, I just want to mention this too. There's a group called Loose Ends. They were big in the 80s. They had a bunch of hits.
Mhm.
And they were on my show Breaking Into. Is again 30 some years later, and I got to sing one of their songs back to them. It's on camera. If you go to Breaking
Wow.
Into Loose Ends, they were song on Mr. Bachelor. And I had to sing, and they were singing it with me. They're like, oh, I said, and I was like, I wanted to cry. I was like, I actually 30 years later, I'm singing my favorite song of this band, and I'm in front of them. Jane Eugene was sitting right next to me. Lisa was sitting right next to me. So those are, but all my professional stuff that I've mentioned, they're all personal too. I think it's for me, it's almost hard to separate there because what we do in organizing, what I do in media, and what you're doing in media because you have a media show, what we're doing in media is personal.
Yeah.
It's we're connecting with people. We are affecting change in people, one show at a time, one organizing session at a time, one consultation at a time, whatever it is, we are personally connected. When we touch their stuff, we're touching them. And I always say to them when I come in, I'm going to respect your stuff. Just want you to know. They're like, why do you always say that? I go, because no, seriously, when you touch something of somebody's in their house, it's very personal,
Yeah.
very intimate, no matter what it is. It could be a plate, it could be a pair of underwear. It doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
And so we are personally changing lives by what we do. So I think that's probably why we're of service. So I think it's probably why everything I do professionally is personal.
James, thank you so much for being on. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us and let us learn a little bit more about you. I'm so grateful. Can you tell everyone where they can find out more information about you?
Support her. Support her. Support the show. Organize your support her. Support them.
Thank
Please.
you.
Please do that, folks. Say James sent you. Anybody who's watching me, seeing her for the first time. You can follow me where all James Lott Juniors are at James Lott Jr. and all social media platforms. I'm on TikTok also. I'm a TikTok star, apparently. I'm on there also. And I have a series on there called How to Get Super Organized Under a Minute. That's on my TikTok series. I've been doing that for a long time. I got to do a new one actually. But I have all that. You can find me at alotofhelp.com. That's Lott with two T's. And underneath there's a super organizer page. You can go there also for rates and things and all that kind of stuff. JLJ Media is the YouTube channel. And you can find the SOS show James Lott Jr. on any audio streaming service platform ever, along with my music.
Thank you all for joining us. Be sure to tune in next time for an all new episode.